Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
How are you, Erica?
Marco, I'm doing really well. How about you?
I'm doing great. I'm really excited because today we're talking about travel.
That's right. We're going to give you some real English to talk about travel.
Exactly. English that you would use in everyday life, that you hear in movies and TV shows.
English people actually use.
Exactly. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this lesson for today?
Okay, so today we are going to listen as a husband and wife get ready to go on a trip.
All right, that sounds a little bit complicated.
Well, let's look at our two preview words.
Vocabulary preview.
Okay, so the first word that we have is road trip.
Road trip.
Road trip.
Road trip.
Okay, so road trips are really fun and interesting, right?
Road trips are great. You get to get in a car with your family and drive on a vacation.
Yeah, those are really fun, and they're really popular in North America.
Really popular. I've been on a million road trips.
All right, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But now let's take a look at our second word, and it's the car's packed.
The car's packed.
The car's packed.
The car is packed.
So when your car is packed, it means that...
everything you need is inside the car.
All right, so your bags, your food, everything that you need for your trip.
Exactly.
Perfect. Okay, so those were our two preview words, and now we are ready to listen to the dialogue for the first time.
Okay, this dialogue will be at normal speed. It will be fast, but don't worry if you don't understand everything.
After 10 minutes, we promise you will understand everything in this lesson.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Today, I'm going to tell you a beautiful story about a husband and wife who traveled together to one of the most exciting cities in the world, London. It's not just a trip, it's a journey of love, learning, and discovery. Through their story, you'll also learn useful English words, travel phrases, and expressions that people really use in everyday life. It all began on a calm morning. Daniel and Emma were packing their bags for their long-awaited trip to London. The room was full of excitement. The sound of zippers, rolling suitcases, and Emma's cheerful voice asking, "Did you pack the passports?" Daniel smiled and replied, "Yes, they're all set, right next to your favorite scarf." That phrase, "all set," means everything is ready. You can say, "I'm all set for my trip," or "We're all set to go." It sounds natural and confident, just like native speakers say. They checked their list again. Tickets, camera, snacks, chargers, and a small travel guide. Emma said softly, "I can't believe we're finally going to London. It's been my dream since I was a child." Daniel looked at her and said, "Then let's make it the best adventure of our lives." Before leaving, Daniel filled up the car tank. Yes, fill up the tank means to put gas in the car. It's one of those simple but useful phrases travelers often need. Emma, on the other hand, was making sure the luggage was packed properly. She smiled and said, "Our bags are packed, the taxi is waiting, and we've got all our bases covered." That means they hadn't forgotten anything. When the taxi started moving toward the airport, the world outside looked bright and new. The city lights reflected in their eyes like tiny stars. Emma whispered, "Let's get going." Daniel laughed, "We already are." That's how their journey began, with love, excitement, and readiness for new experiences. And as you listen, you'll learn not just about their adventure, but also about how to express your own dreams, plans, and journeys in English, naturally and beautifully.
The taxi moved quickly through the quiet morning streets. Daniel looked out the window and said, "I love traveling early in the morning. Everything feels so calm before the world wakes up." Emma nodded. "Yes, it's like the city is still sleeping." At the airport, the smell of coffee and the sound of rolling suitcases filled the air. They walked to the check-in counter together. Emma smiled at the airline staff and said, "Good morning. We'd like to check in for our flight to London, please." The woman behind the counter replied kindly, "Of course. May I see your passports and tickets?" "Here's something useful. When you travel, you can say, check in for my flight. It means to register and get your boarding pass before flying. Another common phrase is, may I see your passport, please, which you'll often hear at the airport. After checking in, Daniel looked at Emma and said, everything's going smoothly. She smiled. Yes, we're all set. That phrase again, all set, means ready. They went through security, and Emma whispered, I always feel nervous during this part. Daniel laughed. Don't worry, just take a deep breath and follow the signs. At the gate, they had some time before boarding. Emma bought 2 cups of coffee and said, here's to our adventure. Daniel raised his cup and replied, to London. They laughed, and the people around them smiled too. Travel has a way of connecting strangers through simple moments. As they waited, Emma opened her small notebook and started writing new English words she saw at the airport. Departure, arrival, boarding, gate, baggage claim. These are all useful travel words. She looked at Daniel and said, every trip is a chance to learn something new, not just about places, but about people, language, and life. Daniel looked at her, proud and smiling. Then let's learn together, one place at a time. Soon, the announcement came. Passengers traveling to London, please proceed to gate number 7. Emma's heart beat faster. It was finally happening. Their journey to London was about to begin. The airplane doors closed, and Emma looked out the window as the engines began to roar. I love this moment, she whispered. It feels like the whole world is waiting for us up there. Daniel smiled, fastening his seatbelt. Buckle up, he said softly. Here we go. As the plane lifted off, the city below became smaller and smaller. Emma held Daniel's hand and said, we're really flying to London. Daniel laughed. Yes, no turning back now. While the plane climbed higher, Emma took out her small travel book and started reading phrases. Excuse me, where is the restroom? Could you please help me find my seat? How long is the flight? She practiced them quietly, repeating each line. These are great travel phrases to know when flying. You can also say, can I get a window seat? Or, could I have a blanket, please? Simple, but useful English for travelers. After a while, the flight attendant came by. Would you like something to drink? Emma smiled politely. Yes, please. Could I have some orange juice? Daniel added, and I'll take a cup of coffee, please. The attendant smiled. Sure, I'll be right back. That phrase, I'll be right back, means I'll return soon. It's a very natural English expression. You can use it in daily life, too. For example, I'll be right back. I just need to grab my phone. They enjoyed their drinks while looking at the white clouds outside. The sun painted the sky in shades of gold and pink. You know, Daniel said, travel teaches us patience. Waiting, moving, learning, it's all part of the journey. Emma nodded. And it teaches us how big and beautiful the world is. Hours passed, and finally, the captain's voice came through the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be landing in London shortly. Please fasten your seatbelts. Emma smiled, her heart racing with excitement. Daniel leaned closer and whispered, Welcome to London, my love. As the plane touched down, the world outside looked gray and misty, typical London weather, but for them, it was perfect. A new chapter waiting to begin. The plane finally stopped, and Emma looked out the window at the foggy airport. So this is London, she whispered. The sky was soft gray, and everything outside looked calm, yet full of energy. Daniel smiled. Let's get going. We've got a whole new world to explore. They walked through the airport, following the arrival signs. When they reached passport control, an officer greeted them. Good afternoon. Purpose of your visit? Daniel replied politely, We're here for vacation. The officer nodded. How long will you stay? 2 weeks, Daniel answered. All right, enjoy your stay.
the officer said with a small smile. Emma sighed with relief. I always feel nervous at immigration, she said. Daniel laughed. Same here, but being polite always helps. Here's something important. When you travel, always use simple, polite English. Words like please, thank you, and excuse me can open any door in the world. After collecting their luggage, Emma said, let's find the taxi stand. At the information desk, she asked, excuse me, where can we get a taxi? The woman replied, go straight and turn right, just outside the main exit. That phrase, go straight and turn right, is one of the most useful direction phrases in English. Others are, go left, go past the shop, cross the road, or take the second street on your right. Outside, the cool air touched their faces. A kind taxi driver waved and said, need a ride, folks? Daniel smiled. Yes, to our hotel, please. As they got inside, the driver asked, first time in London? Emma nodded excitedly. Yes, our very first time. The taxi moved through wide streets, passing red double-decker buses and people carrying umbrellas. Emma pressed her face against the window. Everything looks so different, she said. The cars, the buildings, even the air smells new. Daniel replied, that's the magic of travel. It opens your eyes and your heart. As the taxi crossed the famous Tower Bridge, Emma whispered, it feels like a dream. Daniel looked at her and said softly, it's not a dream. It's our story beginning.
The taxi stopped in front of a beautiful old building with a golden sign that read, The Royal Garden Hotel. Emma looked up in amazement. Wow, this looks wonderful, she said. The doorman smiled warmly. Welcome to London. Let me help you with your luggage. Inside the lobby, the air smelled of fresh flowers and coffee. The receptionist greeted them with a friendly smile. Good afternoon. Do you have a reservation? Daniel replied, yes, under the name Daniel Cooper. Perfect, she said, typing quickly. May I see your passport, please? That phrase, may I see your passport, please, is very common when you check into a hotel. You can also hear, could you please sign here? Or, how many nights will you be staying? Simple phrases like these make your travel smoother. Emma signed the form and said, it's so nice that everyone here speaks politely. I love British manners. The receptionist smiled. We do our best. Your room is ready? It's on the 5th floor. Here are your key cards. Breakfast is from 7 to 10 a.m. and Wi-Fi is complimentary. They took the elevator up, and when the doors opened, Emma gasped. The room was bright with big windows overlooking the city. Red buses moved like tiny toys below. Look at this view, she said. Daniel walked to the window. I can see Hyde Park from here, he whispered. Emma opened her suitcase and began to unpack. I always like to unpack right away, she said. It makes me feel at home. Daniel laughed. I prefer to keep everything in the suitcase. That way I can find things faster. They both laughed. Small differences make travel interesting. After resting for a few minutes, Emma said, let's not waste the day. I want to see the city. Daniel smiled. All right, let's get going. They left the hotel and walked hand in hand down the busy London street. The sound of people talking in different accents, buses passing, and street musicians playing the guitar filled the air. Emma whispered, I already love this city. Daniel nodded, and this is just the beginning. The taxi stopped in front of a beautiful old building with a golden sign that read, The Royal Garden Hotel. Emma looked up in amazement. Wow, this looks wonderful, she said. The doorman smiled warmly. Welcome to London. Let me help you with your luggage. Inside the lobby, the air smelled of fresh flowers and coffee. The receptionist greeted them with a friendly smile. Good afternoon. Do you have a reservation? Daniel replied, yes, under the name Daniel Cooper. Perfect, she said, typing quickly. May I see your passport, please?
That phrase, "May I see your passport, please?" is very common when you check into a hotel. You can also hear, "Could you please sign here?" or "How many nights will you be staying?" Simple phrases like these make your travel smoother. Emma signed the form and said, "It's so nice that everyone here speaks politely. I love British manners." The receptionist smiled. "We do our best. Your room is ready. It's on the 5th floor. Here are your key cards. Breakfast is from 7 to 10 a.m. and Wi-Fi is complimentary." They took the elevator up, and when the doors opened, Emma gasped. The room was bright with big windows overlooking the city. Red buses moved like tiny toys below. "Look at this view," she said. Daniel walked to the window. "I can see Hyde Park from here," he whispered. Emma opened her suitcase and began to unpack. "I always like to unpack right away," she said. "It makes me feel at home." Daniel laughed. "I prefer to keep everything in the suitcase. That way I can find things faster." They both laughed. Small differences make travel interesting. After resting for a few minutes, Emma said, "Let's not waste the day. I want to see the city." Daniel smiled. "All right, let's get going." They left the hotel and walked hand in hand down the busy London street. The sound of people talking in different accents, buses passing, and street musicians playing the guitar filled the air. Emma whispered, "I already love this city." Daniel nodded, "And this is just the beginning." As they stepped onto the bustling London street, Emma felt as if she had entered another world. Red double-decker buses rolled by, black taxis honked, and the smell of roasted chestnuts filled the cool afternoon air. "It's so alive," Emma said with a smile. Daniel nodded. "London never sleeps. Let's explore." They decided to start their adventure by walking toward Oxford Street, one of the most famous shopping areas in the city. The sidewalks were full of people carrying colorful bags, laughing and taking photos. "I've seen this place in movies," Emma said. "I can't believe I'm really here." At a crosswalk, Daniel said, "We should wait for the green light." Emma laughed. "Yes, safety first." The light flashed, "Walk," and they crossed together. Here's something helpful. In English, we say cross the street or cross the road, not pass the street. And when the light changes, you can say the light turned green or it's red, we have to wait. They entered a famous store called Selfridge's. Inside, everything sparkled, clothes, perfumes, and friendly voices. A shop assistant smiled. "Hello there, can I help you find anything?" Emma replied politely, "We're just looking, thank you." That phrase, "we're just looking," is a polite way to say you're not ready to buy yet. Daniel tried on a stylish jacket. "How do I look?" he asked. Emma laughed, like a true London gentleman. She picked up a scarf and said, "Feel this, it's so soft." The assistant said kindly, "That one's made of pure cashmere. It's very popular this season." They bought a small gift, a silver keychain shaped like Big Ben, their first souvenir. "It's small, but it'll remind us of today," Emma said. Daniel nodded. "Every trip starts with little memories like this." Outside, the sun began to set, painting the buildings with golden light. "I think we should grab some food," Daniel said. Emma agreed. "Yes, I'm starving." She laughed and added, "Let's find a cozy place with fish and chips. I want the real London taste." As they walked toward a nearby cafe, the city lights came alive. London at night shimmered like a dream, and for Daniel and Emma, it felt like magic had just begun. The evening breeze carried the smell of fresh food and roasted potatoes as Daniel and Emma walked down a narrow London street filled with cozy cafes and warm yellow lights. Emma smiled. "This is exactly what I imagined London to be. Old streets, soft lights, and the sound of laughter everywhere." They stopped outside a small restaurant with a sign that read, "The Golden Fork, Traditional British Food." The smell coming from inside was irresistible. Daniel said, "Let's give it a try." Emma nodded. "Perfect, I'm starving." Inside, the waiter greeted them politely.
"Good evening. Table for two?" Daniel smiled. "Yes, please." The waiter led them to a small table by the window and handed them menus. Emma opened hers and said excitedly, "Oh, look, fish and chips." Daniel laughed. "That's a must-try in London." Here's something helpful. When ordering in a restaurant, you can say, "I'd like," or "Could I have?" It's more polite than just saying, "Give me." So Emma said, "I'd like the fish and chips, please." Daniel added, "And I'll have the shepherd's pie." The waiter smiled. "Would you like something to drink?" "Yes, 2 glasses of lemonade, please," Emma replied. Notice how the word please makes every sentence sound kind and respectful, a very British habit. While waiting, they looked around. A family nearby was laughing, an old couple held hands, and soft music played in the background. "Traveling makes me realize how beautiful simple things are," Emma said quietly. Daniel nodded. "It's true. A meal, a smile, a walk, everything feels special when you're far from home." The food arrived, and the smell made Emma's mouth water. The fish was golden and crispy, the fries thick and warm. She took a bite and said, "Wow, this is delicious." Daniel smiled. "I told you, London knows how to cook comfort food." After finishing their meal, the waiter came back. "How was everything?" Emma smiled. "It was perfect, thank you." That's another good phrase to remember. "It was perfect, thank you," or "everything was great" are polite ways to express satisfaction after eating. They paid the bill, thanked the waiter, and stepped back into the cool night. The streets were quiet now, and lights from passing cars reflected on the wet pavement. Emma whispered, "This city feels like poetry." Daniel took her hand and said softly, "And we're living it, line by line." The next morning, sunlight gently slipped through the curtains. Emma stretched and smiled. "Good morning, London," she whispered. Daniel yawned. "Ugh, I could get used to waking up here." The sound of birds and distant traffic made everything feel alive. After breakfast, they decided to visit one of the city's most famous landmarks, Buckingham Palace. Daniel said, "I want to see the changing of the guard. It looks amazing in videos." Emma laughed. "Then let's go and see it in real life." They walked to the nearest underground station. The London Tube was busy but organized. Daniel looked at the map. "We need to take the Piccadilly line and then change at Green Park." Emma smiled. "It's good practice for using public transport in English." Here's a helpful phrase. Change at means to switch from one train or line to another. For example, change at Oxford Circus. At the ticket machine, Emma said, "Could I get 2 tickets to Green Park, please?" The staff smiled. "Sure, that'll be £5.80. Emma paid and thanked him. Remember, in British English, people often say cheers as a friendly way to say thank you. Inside the train, a voice announced, "Mind the gap." Daniel laughed. "They really say it." Emma nodded. Yes, it means be careful when stepping on or off the train. When they arrived at Buckingham Palace, a crowd was already waiting behind metal barriers. The palace was huge and grand, with golden gates and guards in red uniforms and tall black hats. "It's beautiful," Emma whispered. "I've seen this place in photos, but it's so different in person." As the soldiers marched in perfect rhythm, the band started playing music. People clapped and cheered. Daniel took out his camera. "Let's take a photo here. It's a memory we'll never forget." Emma stood beside him, smiling proudly. After the ceremony, they walked through St. James's Park nearby. Swans floated on the lake, and people fed ducks with small pieces of bread. Emma said softly, "I feel so peaceful here." Daniel replied, "That's the best part of traveling, finding quiet moments in busy cities." They sat on a bench, watching the sunlight dance on the water. Emma smiled. "London feels like a place that tells stories. Every corner has one." Daniel nodded. "And now, it's telling ours." After a calm walk through St. James's Park, Daniel checked his map and said, "Next stop,
The London Eye. Emma's eyes lit up. Oh, yes! I've always wanted to see the city from up there. They followed the signs and walked along the River Thames. The air was cool, and the smell of roasted nuts and coffee from street stalls made everything feel perfect. As they approached the giant Ferris wheel, Emma gasped, "It's even bigger than I imagined!" Daniel laughed. That's why they call it the London Eye. It sees everything. They joined the line, and when it was their turn, a staff member said, "Please step inside carefully." The glass capsule slowly lifted off the ground, and the view grew wider with every second. "Wow," Emma whispered. "You can see all of London from here. Big Ben, the River Thames, and even the Shard." Daniel smiled. "It's breathtaking. I feel like we're on top of the world." Here's something to remember. Breathtaking means something so beautiful that it takes your breath away. You can say, "The view is breathtaking," or "That sunset was breathtaking." It's a great word for travel conversations. As the capsule moved higher, Emma took pictures and said, "I'll never forget this moment." Daniel looked at her and said softly, "Neither will I." The soft British wind touched the glass, and the sound of the city below seemed far away. After the ride, they walked along South Bank, a lively area full of music, laughter, and small art stalls. A street musician was playing the violin, and the melody floated in the air. Emma dropped a few coins into his case and said, "Your music is beautiful." The man smiled. "Thank you, love. Enjoy London." Daniel said, "People here are so friendly." Emma nodded. "Yes, kindness is the best souvenir to take home." That's a lovely phrase to remember. Kindness is the best souvenir. It means good memories come from kind people, not just things you buy. They sat by the river, watching boats pass under the bridge. The next day began with light rain tapping on the hotel window. Emma looked outside and smiled. "Typical London weather," she said playfully. Daniel stretched and replied, "Rain or shine, we're exploring today." After breakfast, they grabbed their umbrellas and took the tube to Covent Garden. The moment they stepped out, Emma's eyes sparkled. Street performers filled the square, a violinist playing soft music, a magician making coins disappear, and a mime pretending to be trapped in a box. "This place feels alive," Emma said. Daniel nodded. "It's like every corner has its own show." They stopped to watch a juggler performing with fire. When he finished, Emma clapped and said, "That was amazing." The performer smiled. "Cheers, love. You made my day." Notice that in British English, cheers often means thank you or thanks. These phrases sound natural and polite. They talked about everything, their favorite memories, their future plans, and the little things that made them happy. "You know," Emma said softly, "this trip is teaching me how to slow down and enjoy moments." Daniel nodded. That's the secret of travel. It teaches you about life without saying a word. When they left the cafe, the rain had stopped, and the streets were shining under the soft London light. Emma looked up and said, "London feels different every hour, and I love that." Daniel smiled. "Every hour here becomes a memory." The next morning, the sky was clear and blue, a perfect day for adventure. Daniel said, "How about visiting the British Museum today?" Emma's eyes brightened. "Oh, yes! I've always wanted to see it. It's one of the biggest museums in the world." They took a short taxi ride, and soon the grand building appeared before them, with tall columns and flags waving gently in the breeze. Emma whispered, "It looks like a palace." Daniel smiled, "A palace of history." Inside, the air was cool and quiet. The sound of footsteps and camera clicks echoed softly. They stopped in front of a huge statue.
Emma read the small sign aloud, "The Rosetta Stone, discovered in 1799. She turned to Daniel and said, "This stone helped people understand ancient Egyptian writing." Daniel nodded. "That's amazing. One object changed how we see history." Here's a useful expression. How we see something means how we understand or view it. For example, travel changes how we see the world. They walked through halls filled with treasures, mummies from Egypt, Greek sculptures, Chinese vases, and old coins from Rome. Emma said, "I feel like I'm walking through time." Daniel replied, "That's what museums do. They remind us that the world is full of stories." They sat on a bench in the middle of the grand hall, surrounded by travelers from all over the world. "You hear so many languages here," Emma said. "Yes," Daniel replied, "but everyone shares the same curiosity. That's beautiful." Before leaving, they visited the museum cafe. Emma ordered a cappuccino and said, "It's nice to rest after walking so much." Daniel smiled. "Exploring museums is fun, but it's also like a workout." As they sipped their coffee, a little boy at the next table looked at them and said shyly, "Are you tourists?" Emma laughed gently. "Yes, we are. Where are you from?" "I'm from London," he said proudly. Daniel smiled. "You live in one of the greatest cities in the world." The boy grinned. "I know." When they stepped outside, the sunlight made the museum glow. Emma said softly, "I think today taught me something. We travel to see the world, but we also travel to understand ourselves." Daniel nodded and said, "And London is the best teacher."
In the afternoon, Daniel and Emma decided to visit Camden Market, a lively place known for its music, food, and colorful shops. As they walked through the narrow streets, the smell of fresh bread, grilled meat, and spices filled the air. "This place is full of life," Emma said, her eyes wide with excitement. Daniel smiled. "It's like the heart of London beating in every corner." They passed stalls selling handmade jewelry, leather bags, and vintage clothes. A shop owner called out cheerfully, "Everything is on sale today. Come and have a look." Emma stopped and smiled. "This is beautiful work. Did you make it yourself?" "Yes," the woman said proudly. "All handmade." Here's something useful. When you want to compliment someone's work, you can say, "That's beautiful. I love your work." Or, "Did you make it yourself?" These phrases show interest and respect. Emma bought a small handmade bracelet, "A little piece of London to take home," she said. Daniel laughed. "You're building quite a collection." They found a food stall selling international dishes, Indian curry, Italian pasta, Mexican tacos, and British pies. "Let's try something new," Emma said. "We should mix travel with taste." They ordered 2 plates of curry and sat at a small wooden table near the canal. The food was rich, warm, and full of flavor. "Delicious," Emma said. "This is real comfort food." Daniel nodded. "And it's amazing how food connects people. You don't need to speak the same language to share a meal." A young traveler sitting next to them turned and said, "Where are you from?" Emma replied, "We're from Canada." "Ah, nice. I'm from Spain," he said with a smile. "London brings the world together." That's another nice phrase to remember. Brings the world together. It means people from different countries can connect in one place. After finishing their meal, they walked along the canal, where artists were painting street murals. The colors reflected in the water, and soft music played from a nearby shop. Emma stopped and said, "You know, this city is like a painting, full of colors, culture, and surprises." Daniel nodded. "And every time you look, you see something new." They continued walking, hand in hand, as the golden sunset touched the sky, making London look like a dream that didn't want to end. The next morning, the city woke slowly under a soft gray sky. Daniel looked at the clock and said, "Today's our last full day in London. Let's make it unforgettable." Emma smiled. "Then we should go somewhere magical. Maybe Notting Hill."
They took the tube and stepped out onto streets lined with pastel-colored houses and tiny cafes. "It's so charming here," Emma said. "I feel like we're inside a movie." Daniel laughed. "Actually, there was a movie filmed here, Notting Hill. Maybe we'll find the bookshop from it." They walked through the Portobello Road Market, where shopkeepers were setting up their stalls. Old books, antique clocks, and handmade scarves filled the tables. A cheerful man waved. "Morning, love. Fancy a look?" Emma smiled. "Yes, please." She picked up an old book with golden pages. "It's beautiful," she said softly. The man replied, "Every book here has a story, just like every traveler." That's a wonderful thought. Every traveler has a story. You can use it when talking about life or travel. They stopped at a small bakery with the delicious smell of fresh pastries. Emma ordered 2 croissants and 2 cappuccinos. "Could we sit outside, please?" she asked. The waiter smiled. "Of course, love." Politeness and warmth, that's something Londoners never forget. As they ate, Emma said, "Every place we visit teaches me new English words, but it also teaches me new ways to see life." Daniel nodded. "That's why travel is the best classroom in the world." After breakfast, they walked toward a small park. Children were playing, and a musician played guitar under a tree. Daniel said, "Let's sit for a while." They sat on a bench, and Emma looked around. "It's funny," she said. "I came to London to see famous places, but I've fallen in love with its simple moments. Tea, rain, people's smiles." Here's a useful phrase. Fall in love with something doesn't always mean romance. It can mean you really like or enjoy something deeply. For example, "I fell in love with this city," or "I fell in love with learning English." As the wind moved through the trees, Daniel said softly, "When we go home, I'll miss this feeling." Emma smiled. "We can always come back. Maybe next time with even better English." They both laughed, knowing that this trip had changed more than just their vocabulary. It had changed their hearts. That evening, London was glowing with lights. The streets shimmered after a light rain, and reflections of buses and lamps danced on the wet roads. Emma looked around and said, "London at night feels like a painting, soft, bright, and alive." Daniel smiled. "Then tonight, let's enjoy the masterpiece." They decided to take a walk along the Thames River. The air was cool, and gentle wind brushed against their faces. Streetlights lined the riverbank, and the sound of laughter echoed from nearby restaurants. "Listen," Emma said. "You can hear people from everywhere, Italian, French, Arabic, English, all mixing together." Daniel nodded. That's London, one city, many voices. They stopped near Big Ben, its golden face shining against the dark sky. Emma whispered, "It's even more beautiful at night." Daniel said, "Let's take one last photo here." He took out his phone, and as the clock struck 9, they smiled together. Click! Here's something helpful. In English, when you take photos while traveling, you can say, "Let's take a photo here," or "Can you take our picture, please?" Polite and simple. Afterward, they crossed the bridge to the Westminster side, where the city looked even more magical. Musicians played soft tunes, and the air smelled of coffee and roasted nuts. They stopped at a small street cafe for dessert. Emma said, "Could we have 2 slices of chocolate cake, please?" The waiter smiled. "Of course, love." As they enjoyed the dessert, Daniel said, "This trip gave me more than I expected, not just memories, but lessons." Emma asked, "What kind of lessons?" Daniel thought for a moment. That happiness isn't about where you are, it's about how you see the world and who you share it with. Emma smiled warmly. "You're right. And learning English while traveling makes everything even more meaningful. Every new word feels like a key that opens another door." They finished their cake, and as they stood up, a light rain began to fall again. Emma laughed. London saying goodbye in its own way.
Daniel opened his umbrella and said, "Then let's walk slowly and let it say goodbye properly." They strolled hand in hand along the glowing streets, the rain falling softly like music. It was their last night in London, and every step felt like part of a memory they would carry forever. Morning came quietly, wrapped in soft gray clouds. The city outside their window was waking up. Buses rumbling, people hurrying to work, and the faint smell of coffee drifting through the air. Emma stood by the window and whispered, "I can't believe it's our last day." Daniel walked over and smiled. Time flies when your heart is full. They packed their suitcases slowly, carefully folding clothes and wrapping the souvenirs they had bought. The silver keychain from Selfridges, the bracelet from Camden, and the little book from Notting Hill. Each of these tells a story, Emma said. Daniel nodded. Yes, and together they tell ours. At the hotel lobby, the receptionist smiled. "Did you enjoy your stay?" Daniel replied, "It was wonderful. London feels like home now." "That's lovely to hear," she said. "Safe travels." They took a taxi to the airport. As it moved through the streets, Emma looked out the window. The red buses, the gray skies, the rain-soaked pavements. "I'll miss this city," she said softly. Daniel replied, "You don't lose places you love. You carry them with you." At the airport, they checked in and waited for their flight. Emma opened her travel notebook, now filled with English words, new phrases, and small notes from their journey. "Look," she said, "I've learned so many useful things, not just words, but ways to speak kindly, to ask politely, to connect. That's what travel does. It teaches you the kind of English you can't find only in books. Words like all set, fill up the tank, make a pit stop, get going, cheers, and it was lovely. Real expressions for real life. Their flight was called. Daniel said, "Ready?" Emma smiled. All set. They walked toward the gate, hand in hand. Before boarding, Emma looked back through the glass wall at the city far behind them. "Goodbye, London," she whispered. "You taught us more than we expected." Daniel said softly, "And now it's time for our next adventure." As the plane rose into the cloudy sky, Emma looked out the window one last time, the city slowly disappearing beneath the clouds. She smiled and whispered, "Travel is the best teacher, and love is the best journey." And just like that, their story, full of learning, laughter, and love, became one more beautiful memory, waiting to inspire others to explore, learn English, and follow their dreams. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because every new listener makes our journey even more meaningful.
So, are we all ready to go?
Yep, I think so. The car's packed, we have munchies and music, and the map's in the car.
Did you get the camera?
Got it. Did you fill up the tank?
Yep, it's all set.
You're sure we're not forgetting anything?
I'm sure. We've got all our bases covered.
Well, let's get going then. I love road trips. Do you think we can make a pit stop?
But we've only been on the road for 10 minutes.
I know, but I forgot to go to the bathroom before we left.
Well, she forgot to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I hate it when this happens.
This happens to me on almost every road trip.
Okay, great. So now it's time for our language takeaway. We have 3 words for our language takeaway today.
Language takeaway.
And the first word is munchies.
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 So munchies are
Snacks.
snacks, food,
Food, chips,
chips, cookies,
chocolate bars.
all that good stuff.
I love munchies.
And they're really good when you're taking a road trip.
Indeed.
Okay, so let's take a look at our second language takeaway word for today, and it is fill up the tank.
Fill up the tank.
Fill up the tank.
Fill up the tank. So this is to
Put gas in your car.
put gas in the gas tank.
In the gas tank. Exactly.
All right, our last language takeaway today is
Pit stop.
pit stop.
Pit stop.
Make a pit stop.
It's a quick stop for you to get some gas, food, go to the bathroom.
Yeah, a pit stop, a quick stop.
Great. So now it's time for putting it together.
Putting it together.
Okay, so we have 2 great phrases for you today. Let's take a look at the first one.
We've got all our bases covered.
We've got all our bases covered.
We've got all our bases covered.
This is a really great phrase and it's really useful, right?
Yeah, let's listen to a couple of examples.
Example 1.
We've got all our bases covered in case the hurricane hits.
Example 2.
Okay, I have my keys, wallet, and passport. Looks like I have all my bases covered.
Okay, it's clear now, but you can use this in a lot of different situations, right?
You can use this in many situations. If I'm at work, I could say, all right, we've got a really good marketing plan. We've got all our bases covered.
Exactly. You have everything ready.
You're all prepared.
Perfect. All right. Now let's take a look at our second phrase, and it's let's get going.
Let's get going.
Let's get going.
Let's get going.
All right. So when you say let's get going, it just means
Let's start.
let's start, let's go.
Yep.
Okay. But the interesting thing about this phrase is you can change it a little bit and it means something different.
Let's listen to a couple of examples.
Example 1.
I have the chicken, so let's get cooking.
Example 2.
This house is really scary. Let's get out of here.
Example 3.
I have another meeting in 20 minutes, so let's get down to business.
So let's get down to business, Marco.
Let's get down to business. Let's listen to the dialogue one more time, but this time,
It'll be a little bit slower and you'll understand much better.
So, are we all ready to go?
Yep, I think so. The car's packed, we have munchies and music, and the map's in the car.
Did you get the camera?
Got it. Did you fill up the tank?
Yep, it's all set.
You're sure we're not forgetting anything?
I'm sure. We've got all our bases covered.
Well, let's get going then. I love road trips. Do you think we can make a pit stop?
But we've only been on the road for 10 minutes.
I know, but I forgot to go to the bathroom before we left.
So that was a little more clear this time, wasn't it?
yeah, you can definitely understand better about what we've been talking about.
Yep.
Okay, so now it's time to look at Fluency Builder. Erica, why don't you explain what Fluency Builder is?
In Fluency Builder, we give you some great, useful phrases to help you express your ideas clearly.
Okay, great. So let's look at Fluency Builder.
Fluency builder.
All right, so we all know how to ask the question, are we ready to go?
That's right. You can say, can we go now?
Or you can say, are we ready to go?
Exactly. But there's another way that we can say this, and we heard it in our dialogue. So let's listen.
So, are we all ready to go? So, are we all ready to go?
Wow, that sounds really good. It sounds a lot more fluent.
Fluent, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so another simple phrase that we all know how to say is, it is ready.
It is prepared.
It is ready.
Right.
So these examples are fine. They're right.
Yeah, they're correct English, no problem.
But there's another way to say this that we heard in the dialogue, and it sounds a lot more fluent.
Yep, it's all set. Yep, it's all set.
It's all set. That sounds much better.
Yes, and we're all set to listen to this dialogue for a third time, and this time it's going to be at its normal speed.
So, are we all ready to go?
Yep, I think so. The car's packed, we have munchies and music, and the map's in the car.
Did you get the camera?
Got it. Did you fill up the tank?
Yep, it's all set.
You're sure we're not forgetting anything?
I'm sure. We've got all our bases covered.
Well, let's get going then. I love road trips. Do you think we can make a pit stop?
But we've only been on the road for 10 minutes.
I know, but I forgot to go to the bathroom before we left.
So, Erica, you said you've been on a million road trips. What was that all about? Where have you been?
Okay, well, maybe not a million road trips, but many road trips. Every summer, I used to go on a road trip with my family, and we would drive many, many hours, probably 8 hours in one day, up to northern Canada.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, and then we would go camping, and we would sleep outside, and we would have a campfire at night. It was great.
Ah, family road trip.
Yeah, but maybe 8 hours in a car is a little too long.
Well, yeah. Well, I've been on a different kind of road trip with some buddies of mine, some friends. We would drive to Las Vegas.
Really?
Yeah. So that's really fun. A bunch of crazy guys in a car going to Las Vegas and then just having fun and talking about everything. So that's a much different experience than a family road trip.
Maybe that sounds a little bit more fun.
Yeah, 8 hours in a car is not really that boring with all your friends. All right, folks, we're out of time for today, but be sure to visit our website at englishpod.com and leave all your questions and comments.
Okay, well, thanks for listening, and until next time, goodbye.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word. Prepared, ready to leave.
All ready to go.
Full, everything is inside.
Packed.
Snacks, food.
Munchies.
Put gas in the car.
Fill up the tank.
Ready.
All set.
Have everything ready.
Got all the bases covered.
Start, leave, depart.
Get going.
Long car trip.
Road trip.
Quick stop for food or gas.
Pit stop.
The luggage area of a car.
Trunk.
Person in a car, not the driver.
Passenger.
Highway.
Freeway.
A car you rent, a car you pay to borrow.
Rental car.
Fee paid for using the highway.
Highway toll.
Let's try that faster. Long car trip.
Road trip.
A car you rent, a car you pay to borrow.
Rental car.
Have everything ready.
Got all the bases covered.
Person in a car, not the driver.
Passenger.
Snacks, food.
Munchies.
Quick stop for food or gas.
Pit stop.
Highway.
Freeway.
Start, leave, depart.
Get going.
Put gas in the car.
Fill up the tank.
Prepared, ready to leave.
All ready to go.
Ready.
All set.
Full, everything is inside.
Packed.
Fee paid for using the highway.
Highway toll.
The luggage area of a car.
Trunk.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Road trip. I don't like road trips. Road trip. Let's take a road trip to Las Vegas. Road trip. Do you want to take a road trip? Packed. My suitcase is packed, so we're ready to go. Packed. Did you pack the car? Packed. We can't leave yet. I didn't pack the car. Munchies. I'm starving. Do you have any munchies? Munchies. Let's get some munchies for the trip. Munchies. We don't have any munchies. Can we go to the store? Fill up the tank. Did you remember to fill up the tank? Fill up the tank. I can't fill up the tank. I only have $5. Fill up the tank. I filled up my tank on the way home from work. Pit stop. We need some gas. Can we make a pit stop? Pit stop. We're making a pit stop in an hour. We'll eat lunch then. Pit stop. I'm sorry I was late. I made a pit stop on the way home. We've got all our bases covered in case the hurricane hits. So I've got my keys, wallet, and passport. Looks like I have all my bases covered. This sounds like a great plan. You've got all the bases covered. Get going. We have a long trip today, so let's get going. Get going. What time do you want to get going in the morning? Get going. We didn't get going until lunchtime. All set. I've got everything ready, so I'm all set for the trip. All set. Are you all set to go to the airport? All set. We're all set. This is going to be a great trip. All ready to go. It's time to get in the car. We're all ready to go. All ready to go. It's time to leave. Are you all ready to go? All ready to go. Come on, I'm all ready to go to the airport.